1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, that might be working now. Oh, it's all fun and games. You wouldn't have heard a thing I was saying then. Let's just... I'm just testing to see whether or not the music... See whether or not this is working. Oh, it's all fun and games. Ah, okay, so the mic's now working again. That's awesome. Okay, so gang, what I was saying was that I'm using my old laptop because my new laptop, there is an issue with the sound, with the music coming through. So when I taught last night, burlesque, there was no music coming through, which was a nightmare. I didn't realise until after I taught, and then I watched the video back, and then there was no music. Actually, it didn't matter really so much because that kind of class, we could do it without the music. So I've got Dell working on my new laptop here at the moment remotely while I'm using my old laptop. So I'm hoping that that's all clear. So gang, I'm hoping that the sound is okay, that you can hear the music in the background and that you can hear me. I've just done a little check as well, but I'll do another one just to make sure. I'm just testing to see whether or not the music, I've just done a little check as well, but I'll do another one just to make sure. Is there any music in the background, gang? Let me know. Good morning, Dawn. I had to cancel Dawn's session this morning because I'm trying to sort all this stuff out with my music. Sound is fine, is it, Dawn? Can you hear music coming through? Let me know. There's music. Brilliant. Okay, so I'm using my old laptop. At least that still works. Okie dokie. So, gang, what we're going to do is we are going to be focusing on corrective exercise and stretch work. So you will need a band for some of this. So feel free to grab your band. And we're going to be focusing on doing corrective exercise and stretch. Ah, thanks, Sam. That's great. Corrective exercise and stretch work with regards to these different postural defects. Okay, so just see how you feel. Obviously, if you don't suffer with regards to kyphosis or lordosis or flat back, then this, is still a great session for you to do. It can always be used as prevention. Prevention is always better than a cure. But you can just see how you feel and how you want to move. So we're going to start standing, gang. I'm going to bring your feet together, turn your toes out to the corners of the room, realign your heels with your toes. Take a moment to evenly distribute your weight between your right and your left foot. And then think, as always, tracking up through the body, tension in the muscles, not the joints. The first area I want us to focus on is the pelvis. So as we rock our pelvis forward and back, how much movement have you got there? Does it feel easier to come all the way forward into point A or all the way back into point C? Or does it feel really restricted in both kind of directions? So what's going on with your pelvis? Often with lordotic posture, it's much easier to go backwards into point C. You've got an anterior tilt on your pelvis. With flat back, there is a limited amount of movement in both directions. So I just want you to be aware of that. And then try and come to a bit of midline position, but don't focus too much on that because obviously this is not Pilates. And then bring your shoulders forward and backwards and do the same here. So take this through protraction and retraction. And then again, think about, how does that feel? How much movement has you got there? Is it easier for you to go forward? Is it easier for you to go backwards? And then let those arms lie, just neutral. Shoulders away from the ears, body is lovely and long. So we're going to start with these shoulders, and I want you just to lift them and release them. Often with kyphotic posture, there is a limited amount of movement and mobility in the upper back, the neck, and in the shoulders. So I want you just to let those shoulders drop down. And we always want to think about mobility first before we start to try and strengthen any muscles for correction. Let those shoulders drop down and then bring your head down and then bring it back. Allow the head to fall and then let it rise. We're just going to let that move. Well done. Open the mouth as much as you need. Mobilizing through the neck. Now take the head over to the right. Roll the head down and round over to the left. Often with kyphotic posture, the head kind of juts forward. So we want to focus on allowing the muscles of the neck to release. Good work. And then what you're going to do is you're going to keep your head down and roll your shoulders back. So up to the ears and back down. Bring your head forward and I want you just to push that head back. Think about lengthening up. So we're not going to jut the chin. Think about drawing that back, lengthening out the neck. Let's bring the arms forwards. We're going to start to squeeze the shoulder blades. Again, with kyphotic posture, there's often a lack of awareness of these upper back muscles. They can become really rounded. So we want to think about squeezing them back. If you imagine I was standing behind you, putting 2 fingers in between your shoulder blades, I'd want you to squeeze my fingers. That's it. Now take that right arm, lift, then the left. I want you to be aware of your range of movement in your shoulder. How far can you get that arm back? And how easy does that feel? Move more like a pendulum now. 1 up, 1 down. That's it. So we've got this little movement, really warming up through the shoulders and the upper back. Now take the arms forward and release. Again, with kyphotic posture, there's often tightnesses in the chest. So we want to let that open up and release. Perfect. Bring the arms forward. Start to retract on the right, retract on the left. And it's important to recognize here, gang, you know, if you've had a certain posture for a long, long time, many years, one session isn't going to correct it. It's going to need a little bit of homework, exercises to do on a daily basis, and a body awareness. A lot of the time we're not aware of kind of how we stand. Good work. Relax. Roll those shoulders back. They should feel really quite warm. If you can, take that into a full arm. Open up the shoulder. Now we're not going to rotate forward because we want to think about opening up and bringing those shoulders back. Good work. Really nice. Now leave the arms up and make a wide V position. I want you to start to retract into a W, back into that V. Squeeze. Lift. We pull back. Thumbs are going back, and that's going to help engage the back of the shoulders a little bit stronger. Well done. Let's go a little quicker. Retract. Pull back. So if I turn side on, you can see how far my elbows are going back from my midline of my body. Not straight down. Think about backwards. Take the right arm. So focusing just on one side. Other arm reaches to the ceiling. Now change sides. Retract. Good work. How's that feel? We got it? And relax. Ooh, shoulders should feel really nice and warm. Perfect. Gang, take your palms together. Shoulders away from your ears. And we're going to start to work on the rotation of your spine. So we're going to let those shoulders have a little bit of a breather. And instead, we're going to focus on mobility of the spine to help with flat back. So my hands are just into kind of prayer pose here. Shoulders away from the ears. And I'm really thinking about how much I can turn. How does that feel as I move? Inhale, exhale. Good work. Take the arms wide now. Palms are up. Now, if this position of your arms isn't good for you, keep the hands in prayer pose. Otherwise, we're here. Palms up. Let's rotate. Thumbs back again. Working on that mobility. Give me one more to the left. Good work. Let the arms release. Wrap round. So we're working a little bit on rotation there. Start to think about your flexion and your extension through your spine. So let's take the head back and roll the chin down. Roll forward to a halfway spot and then create a lovely flat back. Now from here, we're going to lift and release. So we are flexing the spine and extending the spine. Push your bottom away. Well done. So lift and release. How's that feel? Notice your lower back. Notice your mid back. We're going to start to make this bigger if you want. So if you want to increase this, we're coming up, thinking about the extension of the spine as we stand. Either rolling to that halfway spot and pushing away, or rolling all the way down to the floor. Inhale, exhale, and rise. So think about what's right for you this morning. Is it right for you to roll all the way down? You're working on your flexion and your extension through your spine. Often with flat back, we can go over a little bit like an ironing board. You can go over a little bit like this with a lack of mobility. So I want you to really think about that articulation, vertebrae by vertebrae coming over. Whoever's just said, sorry, I'm late, Facebook user, I need you to update your StreamYard, whoever that is. I can't see your lovely name come up. Inhale, exhale, and rise. So notice here. Well done. Gang, stay halfway. Hands on the thighs. Bring your right hand up to your temple. We're going to do a standing thread like a needle. Drop and then lift when you're ready. So this is really good for both flat back and kyphosis because it opens up the shoulder. You can do it at your own pace and your own time. So if I turn side on, you can see me. We're here. I'm getting a little bit of rotation in the spine and I'm opening up that shoulder. Well done. Now roll up, vertebrae by vertebrae. Again, work on that extension of your spine if you wish. Roll down, chin to chest. Halfway spot, hand to the left temple. We're going to come through and then lift up. You might find your mobility is different from your right to your left side. Actually, pretty much most people will be. We all hold tension more on one side than we do on the other. And someone can be really quite flat-backed on one side of their back, not the other. And you can be kyphotic more on one shoulder than the other. So be aware of how that feels. You're standing thread like a needle. When you feel like you've done equal amounts on both sides, rise. Roll those shoulders. Ooh, how warm is your back now? Should be really nice and warm. Should feel that. Okay, take those hips round. Take your feet wider. I want you to let those hips release, your lower back release. Let's take the feet wide. Lunge from right to left. Stretch your inner thigh. Often With lordotic posture, and this is me, but not as bad as I used to be, inner thighs can get very, very tight. And again, that can then restrict the movement of the pelvis. So I want you to open up those inner thighs and be aware of how that feels. Good work. How tight is that for you today? Push it away. Good work. Give me one more each side. Perfect. Now bring those legs in. We're going back to that pelvic tilt forward and back. With flat back posture and with lordotic, there's often limited movement in this pelvis, especially coming forward. So I want you to focus on that. Have the feet wider if you need to. Good work. We're going to start to lift the knee. So a knee lift, bringing the pelvis then again, rocking through. We don't want our pelvis dead stiff. We want it to be able to move. Of course we do. It's really important that, the whole body moves. It's not staying stiff or tight in any areas. So the knee lift can help to mobilize that lower back. Mobilize the, hips as well. Good work. Come to the back of your mat. Take one roll down. Come all the way down to the floor. And give me a little calf stretch here. No, you don't need to lock your knees. Bend through one leg. Feel the stretch in the other leg. Because often with, again, lordotic posture, we struggle with tightnesses and overactive hip flexors and hamstrings. So I just want you to lengthen out the back of the legs here. Good work. Now bring your knees to the floor. Okay, we're going to rotate through the spine here. So a rotation around your axis. Move that spine as much as you can. Go the other way when you're ready. Good work. Okay, so from here, gang, come up to kneeling. You may need to grab a cushion now because I'm going to take your hip flexors and stretch them out. Bring your right foot forward. If your mat's very thin, pad up your mat. I'll put a cushion underneath your knee. I want you to rock your pelvis forward and back. So again, we're focusing on that lordotic posture, but also a little bit of flat back here, because again, there'll be limited movement of the pelvis. And the hip flexors often get very tight and overactive. So we want to bring that forward and stay forward when you can. Now, can you feel a stretch there at all? If you can, essentially, a lot maybe of the pain that you get in your hips is due to these hip flexors being really quite tight. You might find your quads are tight as well. Mine are definitely from playing netball on Tuesday night. So I'm going to lift that left arm up, lean back, and I'm going to reach over, opening up this whole side of the body. Now we can release and we can come back into it and go further whenever we want to. So we can release, tuck the pelvis forward, lean back and lean over. How's that feel? Inhale, exhale. Let's do one more. Press. Good work. We release. Change the legs over. So feel free to put whatever you've got there underneath that right knee now. Tuck the pelvis here. So remember, I've spoken about this before when we talked about hips. Often if there is pain in the hip when your leg is very close to your body, say for instance on this side, you're getting pain in your hip here, that will tell you that the hip flexor is not tight, it's actually overactive and it's kind of fatigued because we're not lengthened. If you're getting pain in the hip flexor here, that probably is tight because it is lengthened. So let's stay forward, tuck, lean back, and then reach. Lean the arm over, still tucking your pelvis forward. And remember, we can release and tuck the pelvis forward and lean. So I'm leaning back as well as over to the side. And my pelvis is tilting forward to you. Good work. Inhale, exhale. Come through. Beautiful. And one more time. Inhale, exhale. Really nice. Good work, gang. Okay, coming down to the floor. So we're going to focus here again through our kyphosis, going back to these rounded shoulders. If you bring yourself back round, I want to stretch out the chest first into the shoulders. So if you bring yourself onto all fours and then lean back, take your right arm out to the side, look the other way. Some of you might want to turn your thumb up and be in that position. Look into that side. Good work. Let's change sides. So we're here. Turning the head and then lifting the thumb up. Getting a great stretch in the chest. Good work. Well done. Bring it back to kneeling. This is where you might want to grab your band. We did this earlier standing. We're now going to make it a little bit stronger with the band. Come with your hands high. I want you to retract your shoulder blades back. Squeeze. If kneeling is no good for you, you can absolutely do this sitting. You won't get any engagement in the muscles in the bottom though here. Or you could do it standing. If you are standing or kneeling, I want you to engage those muscles in your bottom, your glutes. And I want you to pull those arms back. So this is helping with kyphotic posture, but also the glute engagement is helping with lordotic. Often the glutes aren't firing properly and they often then push back, giving us that anterior tilt on our pelvis. Well done, press. Perfect. Release here. Ooh, shoulders are lovely and warm. Sink back into your child's pose. And then come up to cat stretch. Let's lift and lower. Stretch the muscles you've just been working. But add your little hip shift, side to side, waggy tail. And then go the other way, belly button to the floor. And then shift the hips side to side. This stretch is so good for all postural kind of problems. Giving us the mobility and flexion and extension. But also that wag of the tail, releasing the lower back. And stretching through the upper back as well. Perfect. So gang, if we come down to the floor, feel free to grab a drink if you need to. Move your band just to your side so that you've got it handy. We're going to do a move that is going to help with all posture problems. It's shoulder bridge. Nothing behind the head, gang. Feel free to have your legs and feet as wide or as narrow as you need to have them. But what I will say is if you are quite tight in your hips, take your feet wider. Have your arms resting by your side to start. And let's start with a pelvic tilt. I want you to think about your bottom, your pelvis, and maybe the first 3 vertebrae up. You're getting this little tilt lifting here. And then think about, rather than the first 3, think about the first 5. So that lumbar region of your spine, your sacral spine right at the bottom is fused. So you kind of have to think about that being as 1. And then you've got 5 vertebrae that make up your lumbar. I want you just to think about those. We're tucking the other way. So this exercise here on its own is so good for your lordotic posture, but also your flat back. And then if you start to come up a little bit higher, vertebrae by vertebrae, we bring the shoulders down and back, and then we roll down. So this is, again, great for your lordotic posture because it makes you go the other way. It opens up your hip flexors. It engages the muscles in the glutes. So all of these are problematic for lordotic. But also this mobility of the spine is brilliant for your flat back. And then the shoulders away from the ears, opening the chest. Great for kyphotic. What we can do for kyphotic as well is take those arms overhead, leave them there, and then articulate the back down vertebrae by vertebrae so we get a bigger stretch in the shoulders, and then bring the arms down. So that can be great just to open up and through. Perfect. So see how this feels. You know your body. So if you want to just stay with that lordotic tilt, if you don't want to do the arm pull over, you don't want to come up so high because you know that you're not kyphotic, that's absolutely fine by me. Well done. Okay, so I'm going to stay up in my shoulder bridge just as high as you want. I'm going to change the arms. We're going to come into a pec deck. So this is just going to, again, open up the chest, helping with your kyphotic posture. Squeeze the muscles in the bottom, open up the hips to help that lordotic posture. We're going to stay with the arms out, and then I'm going to move like a toy soldier with one arm up, one arm down. Again, mobility for the shoulders. Try and get the hand down, try and get the back of the palm on the floor. Elbows stay down. Well done. Now leave your arms overhead. Articulate your spine vertebrae by vertebrae. Coccyx hits the floor, arms come down, bring the knees in, and let's rotate and circle. Massage our lower spine. Go the other way when that feels good for you. Uncross the feet, cross them the other way, and do your rotations again. Go the other way when that feels good for you. So gang, we're going to take our arms wide like a scarecrow, put the feet on the floor, and just roll from right to left. Opening up the hip on one side, closing on the other, but opening up the back. So again, this is working on the mobility of the spine into a rotation. Perfect. Let's stay over on one side. Bring that top arm round. Put something under your head if you need to. I'm going to take that arm around. We're going to come back shoulder height, and then we're going to come round and through. Feet together, knees together, opening up the back, opening up the chest. So again, this is really lovely for all three postural defects here, because it helps with your lordotic posture, because it tucks the pelvis under, but also with lordotic, often we have flat backed a little bit further up. It's opening up your chest and your shoulder for the kyphotic posture. And of course, it's mobilizing the spine for flat back. Well done. You're going to leave your arm open. Bring yourself back to center, and again, go back to your roll. You may wish to lift your legs off the floor. Arms are wide like a scarecrow, and you're rolling those knees. Gang, you're going to stay there. I'm going to turn the other way because we're going to do the other side, and I want to still face you. So you're just rolling your knees from right to left. Notice how that feels. And then when you're ready, you're going to stay on that other side. Bring that top arm through. And then rotate back, shoulder height. Inhale, exhale, and bring it back. Rotate round. Open up the chest. Well done. Remember, you can have something under your head. So really allowing that shoulder to release. Back to open. Perfect. Do one more. Good work. You're going to bring it back. Hug the knees to your chest again. Again, hopefully you feel really open in that chest and back. This is where we're going to grab our band again and we're going to place it around our right foot. I want you to bend this knee and straighten. Feel free to have something behind your head if you need to. Many people with lordotic posture, so this big curve in your lower back, suffer with really tight hamstrings. They often be very overactive in lots of things. So they kind of kick in more. They tighten more. Hold your tension there. So I want you just to let them release into this hamstring stretch. And it's great to do it with the band because the pressure's off trying to pull the leg in with your hands. When that feels good for you, hold that leg straight and just flex the foot and point the toes. So take that little release there. Well done. We're going to hold that foot flexed. Pull the toe to you. Take a breath. Now turn the toes at the angle. You might find that that stretch changes and goes down the outside of the leg. And then turn the foot the other way. So heel in, toes wide. Again, you might find that the stretch has changed. We're going to hold on with the right hand, open that leg out to the side. Pelvis is going to stay level. Extend the left leg down to the floor. Stretching our inner thigh. Remember I said these are problematic as well with lordotic posture. So pull that band as much as you need to. Really well done. We take a breath, inhale, exhale, and bring the leg back. We're going to pull the leg over, allow the hip to release, the lower back to relax. Stretch here. Well done. We're going to lift that leg. Head comes high. Take a little stretch there one more time. And then release. Good work. Come to the other side. So I often do these stretches pretty much in every kind of fitness Pilates class that I teach, but they lay heavily on our Friday morning stretch classes as well. And that's because often they really do affect other areas of the body. Somebody can be experiencing lower back pain, which essentially is a result of their hamstrings or their hip flexors being tight or their glutes being very tight. When you're ready, hold the leg straight, flex the foot and point the toes. Somebody can be very tight in their calf and their Achilles, and it's going to affect the way they walk and hold themselves. And of course, the way they move. So if they're then doing an exercise where they're doing squats or lunges, that's going to affect the position. Hold that foot flexed. Push the heel away, pull the toes down. We take our breath, inhale, exhale. We turn the foot. Feel that lovely stretch. Turn the foot the other way. Holding on with our left hand only, open that leg to the side. Inner thigh release. Extend the other leg down to the floor. So maybe you're finding that one side is a lot tighter than the other. Maybe you're feeling different things from one side to the other here. Take a breath, inhale, exhale. Bring that leg back through. Open out that hip, the bottom, the lower back. Relax the shoulder. Well done. We're going to lift that leg up. Look to the leg. And then place both feet into your band. Little rock on your back. Bring you up to sitting. So hopefully the legs feel okay. Take the hands back behind you. Lift your chest. Stretch that area there. Well done. Come round, back to your calf stretch. See how the back of the legs feel. See how the lower back feels. And then bring your hands back to your feet. Bend your knees. We're going to roll up slow. As you come tall, I want you to be aware of your posture. So see how everything feels. See how those shoulders feel. That lower back. Maybe you need to do a roll down to reflect on that. To see how that feels second time round. To notice how the lower back articulates. Maybe you need to take that pelvic tilt again to see how that feels through your pelvis. Or maybe you need to bring those shoulders forward and back. But hopefully now you've got a real good awareness of you, your posture, and what you need to do for you personally. Stand lovely and tall. Bring those feet under the hip bones again. As always, tension in the muscles, not the joints. Let your pelvis lay neutral. Shoulders relax. Take a breath. Bring the hands down to prayer pose and bring yourself into that awareness of what's optimum for you, for your posture. Take another breath. As you exhale, draw those hands down and lengthen up the head. Grow tall, like your head's got further away from your feet. And one more time. Inhale. And as you exhale, breathe away any last little bit of tension you might be holding on to, which is affecting your posture. Take your right arm up and your left. Right hand forwards and your left. Right palm in and your left. Give yourselves and each other a superb round of applause. Gang, I really hope you enjoyed that this morning. Please let me know any feedback. No problem. Thanks, Sam. Glad you enjoyed it. Have a lovely weekend. Well done, everybody. Any questions, let me know. But hopefully that's given you a bit of an insight into you, your body, your posture. And like I said, what you need to do for you. Have a great day, everybody. And hopefully I'll see you on a live or on a catch up real soon. Thanks, gang. Thanks, Dawn.